What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ambassador Trucker with another update. I know it's been like 2 months since I've been up here updating. It's just training has been a little bit more than I expected. It's pretty much by the time I get finished, I'll be like ready to crash out and go in the bunk and go to sleep. And I've not really had a lot of time to just sit and just do a video. I think one of my videos I did with a trainee in the back, but he was sleeping, and I don't think he too much knew what was going on. But for the most part, I'm gonna try to update a little bit more often, which I think I say at the end of every single video. But I really am. I'm gonna try. It's been just about 6 months now since I've been with Western Express. I've been training for almost 3 months. And what I can say so far about the revenue is when I first started at Western, I was getting like 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, paychecks when I first started up until maybe about Christmas. And then they told me freight sort of kind of slowed down. So then I was doing about 800, 900 or 1,000 on some of my settlements, getting to maybe about 2,500 miles. But I wasn't doing too bad by myself. Then I picked up trainees, and it still hasn't gotten to the level that I think prior to this past week, I hadn't gotten the miles that I thought I should have got. Because my first trainee, I was getting like 3,000 miles still a week, which is what I could do personally by myself. By the time I was getting to my second, third, fourth trainee, I was more so doing maybe between about 4,000 to 5,000 miles, depending on the week. But this past week that just passed, I did 6,000 plus miles, and I think I'm estimating my gross before expenses to be maybe about $7,500, which is not, that's great. I probably have maybe about 3,000 in expenses between my fuel and my truck payment, then plus whatever they take out for escrow and what have you. So I might be looking at about 3,500 to $4,000, maybe. I don't know. It's sort of kind of a toss up because I haven't exactly figured out the fuel surcharge, because it varies from week to week. I don't know if I've ever mentioned the fuel surcharges. They basically say it's based on it's based on your loaded miles, but it's based on the national average fuel cost. So right now, when I first started, it was like 32 cents or something like that, but fuel is going down. So right now, I pretty much estimate my fuel surcharge at about 25 cents per my loaded miles. And pretty much, I think everything except for about 700-800 of those miles this week was loaded miles. They gave me some great runs this past week. They were phenomenal. Like, I didn't even realize until I sat down at the end of the week and tabulated all of my miles, how many miles I had gotten. And I was ecstatic when I looked at the end result. But like I said, training has not been bad. Like I said, except for the fact that I really, really wish I had a little bit more on the mileage end. I really know that sometimes the frequency that I try to go home every other week, because again, I have a 2-year-old at the house, and I like to go see my baby. So I don't want to be going for 3 and 4 weeks. I might stay out 3 weeks sometime. Like this point, I'm out. This is my 3rd week out. And I don't like to do that all the time. But, sometimes I have to stay out that long for one reason or another. But for the most part, like I said, I'm still doing okay here at Western. I still am trying to get everything together so I can break down one of my settlements. What I might actually have to wind up doing is going somewhere and just getting them to print a couple out for me. And that's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna get somebody to print a couple of them out for me, and then I'll go through the statements on the phone while I got them printed out and in front of me. Cause people have asked me to break down my statements, which I'm gonna do. But also, like I said, I'm still not doing bad here at Western. You know, again, is I've had even some of my trainees that have been complaining about the process and complaining about their experience at Western, which excuse me, which is understandable because their experience, their process, a little different from mine. And according to one of my trainees, I may be doing a little better than a bunch of people here. But I'm not certain because I mean I'm telling you how it's going for me. Like I said, I'm as far as me training, this is the first week I've attained the goal, or I've actually over exceeded where I was expecting to do so far. But like I said, I really think that my baseline, I ought to at least be bringing in about $2,000 a week after my expenses from training. And I ought to at least be able to get it maybe about 5,000 miles a week. That's it's not difficult, you know, especially if they keep us moving. But if we doing a whole lot of sitting, which unfortunately they have the tendency to have me sitting for a while, then you know that's what happens. I'll go somewhere and we'll get there, and then you know we have a live unload. I truly believe. I don't know. I really, in my personal opinion, I think that lease purchase operators ought to have our own set of planners. We ought to have our own set of night dispatch people. And, you know, it's just certain things I think we should be treated in a different aspect, because I feel like, and I may have said this before, that sometimes we'll call up there and they don't realize the difference between a lease purchase, like not when my DM's there, but when, you know, my DM's not there. I feel like people don't realize the difference between a lease purchase and a company driver, and they do things to us and treat us like company drivers. And I think there should be a different standard for lease purchase operators. But I mean, it's not too much I can do about that. And you know, again, like I said, I'm providing for my family a good living right now. You know, prayerfully things stay the way that they've been, or at least things keep exceeding and going up. You know, like I said, I hope that, you know, this week is not the exception, it's the standard. You know, at least I'll be trying to make that much on a weekly basis from now on. But yeah, so I hopefully will be updating you guys again sooner than 2 months from now. But yeah, like I said, it's been about 6 months so far since I've been here at Western. Been training for 3 months, and I'm ready to keep going and eventually pay my lease off. So I'll be looking forward to 4.5 years from now giving you an update and saying, hey, I got my title and I'm heading back to Georgia free from this. Because I pretty much made the decision that I'm not going to stay with Western after and it's not because Western's a bad company. It's because I want to be home with my family more after I pay my truck off. So we'll see how all of that works. All right, this is Ambassador Trucker signing off. You have a good one.